There we go.
Relax.
All right.
I know I was talking about first I was thinking Tom would check it. I'm recently talking to Marvin. I'm bracing me up to too many good men yard now.
Oh, I tried yesterday. He is. He's out there,
Okay.
yeah.
Hi, senior. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, help me find Malia's card. This needs to go in.
You're starting the program
I think
soon?
so. He said she wanted to start it right on time.
And that's 4:30 or 4?
4.
Good for you.
I'm gonna try that silly block because I think my Pinot Grigio needs to be cooler. Chill.
Oh, yeah. Choose your own adventure.
We're like, hello. your white tiger sticker. I better get one.
Oh, that's the
This is good. You need a little hanger for that.
You know, he looks like a. You going to the shop? Are you going to the shop? Yeah.
I remember there's
There's another one. Just dip it in. Try not to get it in the bar, so. No. Oh, you're making a video! Try to dip it. It doesn't. Oh, the survivor! Yeah, we got Ellie got it! It's gliding! No, I was gonna throw it at the camera.
Don't do that.
Did you see Paul yet? No, I held a snake today.
Hey, girl.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got you. I've never been to New Orleans.
Hi. Hi, babe. Samantha.
Is that the live stream?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
cool.
I think there's.
I know mom and dad are watching. How
All
you
right.
doing? That's great.
I don't care about my friend Abby.
I'm gonna try not to get any other things over. How are you? Okay, got it. Within an hour.
This guy here,
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I
want to grab my phone. No, I need
Everybody said it was real easy. It's not.
That's what?
Yeah,
Just so you know, you're a little low. A lot of people's heads are getting cut off. Just to heads up. Thank you. There you go. That's the ticket. No matter where I am.
Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Greetings, everyone. Welcome. What a beautiful sea of faces. It means so much to have you all here. We gather today to celebrate the life of Bill Nally. Bill loves many things. His child, first and foremost. His friends and family. Wife's panic. Tinkering. Being a jank star. Building out and traveling. Hockey. Starbucks. The mountains, skiing, and all things. While us lay people talk about snow depth in inches or feet, as we sometimes get here in the Wasatch, avalanche professionals know the importance of snow, water, and frequency. Water is an interesting compound that can transmute its form from solid to liquid to vapor. Billy, like water, is a shapeshifter. Son, scientist, father, artist, philosopher, and brother to many. And like snow, Billy is a multifaceted human. We sought to represent some of the pieces of this unique and shiny man in this celebration today. Thank you, everyone, for your gifts, your love, and your presence. Joni Barrett, Shamana Mama, will start our program by opening the space and offering love. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My t-shirt. No one used tonight. Okay, I want to just invite everyone, rather than standing and facing in 4 directions, if you want to just check the wind coming from that direction with your finger. We'll start with the south. So we come here in this space to honor the legendary white bear named Billy on this airplane. And we want to invoke the winds of the south, the winds and the mountain blessings of the LaSalles that watch over our precious Jane Star Earth, that the winds come gently across that plain, as they usually tend to be a little more harsh. But we ask them to come gently from the south and cleanse us of all the things that no longer serve us and allow us to shed that mourning that we have, that we will be able to move on and honor that precious being that we know is Billy. Going to the west, we call in the west winds, the winds of the deep creeks, the mountains that will hopefully guide the wind and the snow over our great American desert and our salt waters to dry out our precious snow and make it the kind that we love from the greatest snow on earth here in Utah. So we're asking the West to help us rebuild in our souls anything that might have been left with the loss of Billy, that we will be able to fill that space with love for each other and love in our hearts. And to the north, we call on the ancestors, and we call on those ancestors that love us unconditionally and our guides that love us unconditionally, that they will come and help us to rebuild, to be inspired, that we will be able to live our fullest lives and be accepting of the downloads that we receive and the inspiration that we have to be the best humans we can be. And will the winds of the north keep that snow nice and cool so that the flakes will form in the most beautiful way. And then now to the east, we call on the east, the mountains of the Uintas, where we all love to play the mountains of the east that hold the snow for the longest time and let us play forever. Somewhere that is dear to Billy's heart because he spent a great part of his year on this planet in the east. So let's honor the east and have it gather us all as family and kindred, that we will be honoring our friend and that we will be able to carry his spirit with us everywhere we go as a united soul, because we are all one. And to the stars, every time you look up on the stars, you know that Billy is shining down. And if there's ever a chance that you're looking at stars and snow's falling at the same time, just hold yourself and know that's Billy talking to you. So we'll honor that. And we all honor the earth mother, the Papa Mama, that she holds us and she created so much abundance that we'll be able to feed us tonight while we gather together as a giant family and dine on all the amazing abundance that Mother Earth has created for us. Wow. And now, I just want to say, just to get the lightness in the room and the blessings, a big hi-ya-ya from everyone. Because that will lift everybody up. And let's do this big. 1, 2, 3. Hi-ya-ya! And now I bring you the glorious goddess, Livy, that gave birth to our precious Billy, the white tiger.
I can spin around. Okay.
I gotta put it out. Okay, we're gonna start right here. This is the Billy you just didn't meet, but this is where he lived. Okay, this goes all the way back. His 22 years starting at 7 4th Street in Auburn, New York. Front and back. Yeah, Dakota. Okay.
There you go.
I'm gonna have to put my back to you. I gotta see this. Okay, click. Here we go. He was born December 11, 1972, to an Italian family as a Christmas present, of course. There he is. Loved music. There's where it all started. Okay, as a toddler, he loved his music, and then the traveling, and his first 8 years was at Florida for Disney World. And he loved Minnie. He always loved the girls, didn't he? Thank you. Okay. Now, his grandparents owned an Italian bread bakery called Tito's, and he worked for silver dollars. You know. Yeah. Baby Billy. Halloween was a national holiday. Okay? Unfortunately, the first kind of year I dressed him as a girl. Ain't going well. But you can see, yeah, Halloween was a biggie. Middle school. This is when this all started. Started performing with several of the musicals. He was Michael, flying through the air in Peter Pan. Then, there he is. Then he was in the Music Man. And believe it or not, he did play the saxophone for a while, but his fingers kind of didn't reach to it. Yeah, there he is. The next picture, still the Music Man. He was still flying from Peter Pan, you can tell. Then He was in a production. We have a off-Broadway theater in our hometown, and they picked him to be one of the sons in the King. There he is. Pretty professional, you know. Skiing was our family thing. You know, he started out, he was 3 years old, and off he went everywhere. And then came hockey. Yeah, hockey. Loved to play hockey and lacrosse. He was a biker. We would have what they called the Great Race in our hometown. And it was 4-man. And it was runners, it was biker, and 2 canoes. You had to know. They did really well. Then came Little League. Little League shortstop. Yeah. Yeah. And then here it is. We boated, you know. That's what we did. We had a lake, a Wasco lake, and summers were on the boat. Yeah. Boating with cousins. Then fall came. It was always apple picking. Christmas with cousins, is Angela and Sammy. He even drank then. But I gotta tell you, it was okay. You know, in an Italian family, you needed to have that cousin. Yeah, this was his first dog. Samantha, she was the best. She loved him, he loved her. And then came Thumper and Buck.
Oh no, the story is very.
It's very bad. No. These rabbits became enormous. We couldn't even keep the cage big enough. He didn't care at that point, that was it. He couldn't pick them up. And then, this is part of our canine. Nina took Billy's place when he went. I said, I gotta have somebody. So, yeah, there was a Nina and a Zoe in our life. This was our canine life. Guys, this was his first concert. Michael Jackson. Yeah, baby, look at it. On the car was Michael Jackson or bust. This was in Buffalo, New York. Yeah, he was never the same.
Is he on the right or the left?
He's at
down the
this
road.
is him.
The short one. Yeah. Christmas was always stuff, of course. And we took cruises, family cruises, and yeah, he was always off and getting in trouble, but that's not a problem. Here it is, Auburn High. This is where he went to school. But I know you can't see this, but I'm going to read this to you. In the yearbook, and this is so good, it says, do not follow where the path leads. Rather, go where there is no path and leave a trail. Is that him? Did he do it or what? Okay, yeah, all right. So there he is. Yeah, he graduated. Thank God. All right. Now, where are you next? He's off to college. Oswego College. There's his brothers. He was in Delta Kappa Kappa, the fraternity, and he continued. You know, those ended up being his brothers, being the only kid, and they're still brothers. Still brothers. There he is. There it is. January 18th, 1995. I knew it. As soon as he packed that car, he was off to Utah. That was it. It was over. It was over. That was it. His father went with him. Of course, it wasn't real hard. And I said, do not come home until he has a place to live and a job. That was it. That was it. So, here it is. Solitude. Solitude. That was his home. Yeah. Yeah. Unbelievable. And we just continued on with family visits. We loved every minute of it. So didn't he? Look at him. Very happy. You all made him happy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. One more thing. That's it. No more pictures. One more thing, and then I just want you to know all this. From the moment he was born, I could only hope, yet never imagined, that little boy in front of me would have been able to pack so much love, adventure, strength, determination in 50 years. Billy knew no boundaries when it came to living life to the fullest. Throughout his life, especially to our granddaughter, Cleo, and to all of you, his extended family. He just wanted it to be filled with lots of love. He maintained every bit of his life as long as he had the strength to live as he did in such an amazing way, a spiritual way, to continue his journey to the place he's gone to now. Cleo, your dad, an incredible amount of special time, love for you. And you know that. Everything you did together and in such a short time, all right? It shouldn't have been short, but it was. But he was so proud of you and everything that you did. And he'll always be watching over you. You've done an incredible job, honey. And to all of you, his extended family, please take everything with you that you know of him. You'll feel him. Believe me, you'll feel him. That spirit is there. That spirit is there. Thank you. It was his extended family, and not your mine.
So I believe next we have Billy's Avalanche family, and whatever works for y'all, if you want to all come up together or your order is on the program, but whatever feels right for you. Brandon Dodge will be introducing this segment.
I love you, Libby. That's a hard act to follow. So before I bring you up, I just want to tell a story about my friend Bill. And I want to tell you guys a story about my friend Bill. And this is an eclectic bunch, right? Please, everyone, take a look around the room. Haven't yet? Because this is pretty weird, right? This is exactly what I would expect from Bill. So many years ago, Bill and I took a trip to France to go look at avalanche infrastructure. We started out this trip with a Avalanche professionals. We went and visited sites all over Italy and France and Germany. Many high-level meetings. Went to the factories. We talked to Avalanche. We talked science. It was wonderful. And then we extended our trip. And we went to Val d'Isère. And, we were skiing. It was one last day of skiing before we were going to head to Paris and extend our trip some more. We're skiing along. The skiing was awful. It was raining. We were kind of like, what do we do? Should we drink? Maybe we should drink. And then off in the distance was you should have seen Bill. Like, literally. We skied a little closer. It turns out we ended up at the end of the year party for Val d'Isère Ski Resort Springs. Just came live with a French stroke. There was about 5,000 people. There was a trapeze with half-naked women pouring champagne for the crowd. And then we went to Paris. We went to Bristol's and the bottom dredges of Paris. We drank and ate at cafes. And, I think when I look back at Billy, that's Bill, right? I mean, the ability to talk shop, the best of them to be a consummate professional, and to piss drunk in the gutter and Paris, France. I didn't know where the hotel was until the revenue finally began. So that's Bill. And we found this house out in the middle of Italy, it's all antique. So Bill was really interested in this howitzer. We've just gone through it and told us how there was no howitzers in Europe, how they don't use them for avalanche control. This massive ski resort, we tried this howitzer. What about this? Well, let's tell you a story. Many years ago, the German troops come into this valley of Marmolada, the camp down here on the beginning of World War II for the Italian side. And that howitzer triggered an avalanche that buried a whole battalion. Bill's like, I got a picture of that. So there we are. There's Howie and Bill with an Italian howitzer. Slowed down World War II for a while. All right, Cowboy, I think you're next. No, I'm not. Oh, you're not? Marvin's next.
So my name is Marvin Sumner. I first met Bill working at Solitude. He showed up around the mid-90s, and he worked a year or so food and beverage, and then he joined Ski Patrol. Nick Doretta, Keith Sternfeld, John, Ian's here. So a number of us from mid-90s. Some of us are still at Solitude, and Bill actually was able to come back and do some avalanche work with us here at the end of this winter. It was a really special time for all of us. From day one, Bill had an endless supply of energy and ideas on how he could contribute to the program and participate in the program. In fact, he had so many ideas, he liked to talk about his ideas quite a bit. Often I had to ask for the Reader's Digest so we could get through the day. Bill spent many hours clearing trees and brush to improve some of his favorite ski runs at Solitude. We still have an area, the Cathedral Cirque, that bears his name, well, at least a variation of his name. What's that? I think that was like a Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. This is Antelope Canyon, that's Bill's love portal. This is a picture in the early 90s. Bill was a hill captain.
What's the name of the run called?
I'll talk to you later. Back in the day, we weren't allowed to telemark ski, so Bill took it upon himself to create a binding that was releasable and locked down called the Nally Locker. We got a lot of prototypes. He kept getting us to try to test them. Some worked well, some not so well. One of the stories I remember about Bill, our old Powderhorn chair needed to be back. We were riding the chair at the time, and so we had to rappel out of the chair. And I don't know if Bill was new to climbing at that time, but he used his belay device a little bit different than the rest of us. He got down out of that chair really, really fast. I remember the gentleman, member of the public, asked us if they could send somebody else to do that. So Bill had a strong desire to develop the skills and knowledge to be the best controller he could be, and the best avalanche worker that he could be. He was one of our avalanche route leaders. He was a hill captain. He ran our backcountry ski program before he moved on to other things. Bill was a strong and reliable member of Wasatch Backcountry Rescue and was a great asset on many of the rescues that we did. I think in total, Bill worked with us for about 8 seasons. And in addition to all the work that Bill did for us, most importantly, Bill had a talent for creating many memorable social gatherings. I don't really remember all of them, but the few that I do remember, I'll never forget. We had a lot of big bonfires back in the day. We built a lot of big luge courses, did a lot of sledding. We also built the liquor luge. Anybody here know what a liquor luge is? We had some good liquor luges. He was instrumental in developing the 2003 Big Cottonwood Canyon Olympics. Needless to say, our events were a little bit different than the actual Olympics. We had some good Mardi Gras parties, pigs. We had some great desert trips. I remember Bill deciding that he was going to learn how to kayak in the San Juan River. He didn't want to be without his beer, so he'd take the beer koozie to his kayak. And the night he was supposed to be making dinner, he would sit his dog in the San Juan River water. Make that into his beer. We had a couple of Solitude Bake Fests. Anybody's there, you might remember those. So through all the years and shared adventures, Bill was and still is a true friend. I know Bill is a kind man that openly shared his love and life and adventure with everyone. He's a seeker, he's a traveler, and Bill's going to be greatly missed. Thank you. And I'd like to introduce the next speaker. I'm not sure who that is. Drew Hardesty.
Do I need to use the microphone? Just one yes? Okay. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Drew Hardesty. I'm an Avalanche colleague. I'd like to first acknowledge all the other speakers, and by doing so, reference a study that many of you probably are aware of. That they did a study on fear, and they found that more people fear public speaking than death itself. So, as it turns out, more people would rather be in the box than speaking about the person in the box. So, which is a good segue These memorials, these celebrations of life are such an interesting construct. Right, each of us, all of us, will at some point be in Bill's position. And what will they remember about us? What will they say about us? I recently asked a colleague in the Tetons, since I've been gone a few years, what stories do they tell about me? And Nick just smiled and said, Bob, you don't want to know. There'll be a bit of a time warp here with some of these stories. So just go with it, you know. A friend of mine was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer last fall. Again, this is a time warp. Bill lived much longer than they expected. He and I skied together in Broad Fork at Big Cottonwood Canyon a couple of years ago, and he said, I won't let any impurities into my system. This includes ideas, thoughts. As an avalanche forecaster, I've often said that if the game is rigged, choose not to play, or choose a different game. Might this apply to our physical and mental health? Perception, memory, cultural constructs. Maybe all of these are malleable. Some things are not. My friend is one of the best snow people I know, and he continues to ski nearly every day. It's what he does. Telling him not to ski might be like telling the sun not to set in the west. I went to see Bill maybe a week and a half before he passed. He was so thin. I said, you know, Bill, usually I say they take the good ones way too soon, us a-holes live forever. But you're wrecking my data set. Fate whispers to the hunter, you cannot withstand the storm. And the hunter says, I am the storm. Replace hunter with warrior because I knew Bill to be one. On a forecast once, I'd call it low danger, but I knew that Bill Nally's out there prowling around. And sure enough, he found a wind pocket in Broad Fork that afternoon. The thing I loved most about Bill Nally was his capital C curiosity. There was a time ski UFO Bowl 2 with Craig Patterson. Does anyone remember Craig Patterson? It's a long run and hard to keep eyes on your partner. He told Patterson, give me 45 seconds and then come on. Near the bottom of the run, he triggered a little soft slab pocket on surface ore. And he stopped to look. You know, he just couldn't not look. Well, pretty soon those 45 seconds are up, and here comes Patterson, who triggers a little pocket of his own. But to our protagonist looking up the freight train, something else. He watched over him and he blew out his knee. Another time, he and I were skinning up a long, steep southeast-facing path in Big Springs. And it has a subtle nose that separates these two paths in the middle. We were 100 feet from the top, and we started hearing all this collapsing. And Bill was 40 feet across from me with a question. It wasn't, what the F are we doing here? It was, which way do you want to go when this thing shatters? Our relationship became complicated and strained when he became head of an avalanche program. And I missed my friend. When he ultimately lost that job, he started skiing again, but by this time his diagnosis was known. Interestingly, when I saw him at that last moment a few weeks ago, I said, Bill, along the arc of your career, can you tell me what was your favorite part? And interestingly, he said it was his third year as a patroller in solitude. Where's Mark? Where's Ian? I thought that was really cool. He felt most challenged in like this sort of flow state every day. You know, I think he was just at the tip of the experience and just gaining the experience more and more with every storm. What I appreciate about Bill is he refused to be a victim in that long arc after he crashed back into the earth. He never cursed God to die. There was no phoenix rising. But he just channeled his energy into different things. He said the proudest thing was being a father. This last winter, he was vastly abstract and we debated and looked for the presence of beautiful weaknesses in the snowpack. He was as curious as ever. If Bill had any curiosity about the afterlife, he never let on. But I do know that he had great certainty on how to live this very short life. From what I could tell, he knew how to leave this world as well. Thanks so much.
Whew. This is really cool so far, you guys. This is awesome. Really enjoying it. How's the sound? Good, good. This is a parody magazine cover that I made in 2007 when we were going through an unusual period of high pressure when we saw very little snow through December and January. That's Brad Makoff out front opening and Natalie behind closing the figure eights. The reason I'm using this image here today is because it really exemplifies so much of what I think about in regard to Natalie and avalanche forecasting. These are reasons why I love Natalie and so much enjoy forecasting with them. It's all here in this image. There's humor in the numerous paradoxical snow stability references. There's pleasure in the skiing that's taking place. And there's also seriousness in the message that it delivers. I really think Nally embraced all of these things. And that's why I really liked interacting with him in a professional avalanche forecasting setting. We're going to work through this thing a little bit. And I think you'll agree with how much this represents who Nally was when it came to avalanche forecasting. For those who don't know the term facets, I'll explain real quick. It's a snow grain that can produce dangerously unstable snow conditions that cause avalanches. It's a condition that forecasters need to be very astute about. As Drew said, Nally's curiosity and hunger for understanding these conditions was infectious. So there was this magazine that celebrated the love of deep powder skiing. It was called Powder Magazine. Interchanging the word facets with the word powder is the first ludicrous aspect of this piece here. No one in their right mind would celebrate facets, except those of us who are completely enveloped in seeking and understanding this dangerous phenomenon. Nally fully embraced this. The bottom line is we wanted to ski powder. Facets ultimately hamper your ability to safely ski powder because they cause dangerous avalanche conditions. We desperately wanted to understand facets so we could safely ski as much powder as possible. This is the whole reason we got into avalanche forecasting to begin with. Let's work through this image a little bit more. The first cover line, sloughing. Let's get loose. That's with exclamation points. If that statement isn't Nally, I don't know what is. That guy was loose. Next up, No slab, no worries. Slab is a term often associated with facets. And again, we were constantly analyzing snow conditions to know when it was safe to ski deep powder. If there's no danger, it's time to hit hard, and we would. Next up, post-powder depression. It's like we were getting mentally sick that season because it had been so long since we'd skied real powder. It was a bad dry spot, it really was. And if you're not laughing at that, let me inform you, that's good humor right there. We had to laugh so we didn't cry. Because we all knew what was coming once those facets that were on the surface got buried by subsequent layers of new snow. It meant a dangerous avalanche cycle was almost certain. And then the joking would be over, and it would be all business. And Nally definitely knew how to get down to business when that time came. But in the meantime, we desperately searched for any terrain that might hold some sort of soft snow that would hint at the sensation that we get when skiing deep powder. Skiing facets isn't quite like skiing deep powder. While faceted snow is soft like powder, it doesn't have the energy powder does. It's limp, it's not like dynamic and exciting. So this day, when we decided to have a figure eight contest, it wasn't a powder eights contest, it was a facet eights contest. On a side note, figure eights are considered goofy by many skiers, and that's why we would purposely stitch them up. Classic Nally, right? I mean, yet another Nally trait being portrayed in this image. But it takes skill to carve those eights, and that was another masterful trait that Nally developed. The guy could ski powder. Nally helped me out a bunch over the years with avalanche forecasting. He learned all the complexities of the electronic weather station components that we use for forecasting. It was only natural that when I wanted to build a prototype portable weather station, Nally eagerly volunteered to help me assemble, test, and get the station up and running. I'm still using that station today. When the Utah Avalanche Center was wanting to provide more public avalanche information for the Manti skyline, UDOT was also in need of information for a road in the region that's threatened by avalanches. Nally worked on a collaborative effort between the Utah Avalanche Center and UDOT to obtain this information. The additional funding he provided helped secure the full-time forecasting position for me on the Manti skyline. Moving to Sanpete County and forecasting on the skyline was one of the best moves of my life, and I really owe him for helping make that happen. Getting back to this image, there's no one who would have been better suited for the cover photo of this magazine than Nally. It seems even more obvious now when I look back after all these years. In closing, I can honestly say Nally was one of my favorite forecasting peers. I completely enjoyed the time we got to spend together, and I'm really gonna miss him. Thank you all for letting me say a few words. I'm really honored to do this today. Much appreciated.
Can you guys hear me? My name is Becca. I'm operations manager at Park City Podcast. So I have a few photos for you that don't relate with what I've written, but I thought they were just fun examples of Billy in his element. You guys have all seen this photo many times. It was his favorite of the season. He was very proud of these, and we talked about them a lot. This is some forecasting control work he was doing with Dave Kicker on one of our ridge lines. We talked about that one for years on a daily basis. We all know how much he loved forecasting and doing avalanche control work, so I had to show you that one. And then this is just a video. I don't know if there's sound, but I loved it because he was with one of our young guests and showing him how to ski powder. He was just the kindest, sweetest, gentlest human when it came to having kids out at the ranch. And this is him being a total goofball at our weather station this year in very Billy fashion. I wish you could hear it. Yes, you can all hear it. And then I have one last video. This was this year doing control work with forecasting with Bo Torrey, and this line is beautiful. So that's how I'm going to remember Billy. Whew, okay. So I wanted to start off by saying how grateful I am to be honoring a man that has clearly touched all of our lives in such an impactful way. Billy's journey with Powder Cats started many years ago in the Ray Santa Maria era. If you know, you know. He then moved on in his forecasting career. When his career began to take a shift, he contacted us about coming back to guide and forecast for Powder Cats. I remember distinctly the initial reaction from our lead guides and forecasters. One of reverence for the great Bill Nally. For many, he was a mentor as their careers began in ski patrol, as backcountry ski guides, and as avalanche forecasters. Having Billy join the team felt a complete full circle. Over the last 5 years, Bill Nally became Billy to all of us, an integral part of the Powder Cat family. He brought so much knowledge, passion, light, and laughter to our team. When Billy was diagnosed with cancer 2 years ago, it hit all of us really hard. It felt unbelievable and unjust. It was a time when we could have all gotten wrapped up in the grief for Billy, but instead, he took this diagnosis and showed us a better way forward through living life to the fullest, always with passion, intention, love, and gratitude. This season at Powder Cats brought some of the best and worst days of our career. As we navigated through the highs and lows, Billy taught us how to embrace both while continuing to see the beauty in the present. The Powder Cats family is forever grateful for the time we had with Billy. Although we will miss his physical presence immensely, I know his spirit will always be with us. In August, we came together at the ranch to honor and celebrate Billy. I have a few photos from him. We told our favorite stories over the years with much laughter and many tears. Plus, that doesn't get red. As we let a piece of him flow down the Weaver River, it was evident that his journey was far from over. As our new season begins, we know his energy will be our guiding light. And in the words of the white tiger himself, some days I'm living, some days I'm dying, but today we're going skiing. We love you, Billy.
Thank you so much, Becca. Becca talked about how they scattered some of Billy's ashes up at the ranch, and before I introduce our next speaker, so I don't forget, I did want everyone to be aware of some of the really beautiful offerings that everyone has brought today, and Billy envisioned it as such. We had a lot of faith and hope and knew that the community would provide, and you all have, and it's just really amazing how this has come together. So our final speaker for the Avalanche segment was to be Amy, who was one of Billy's colleagues in the San Juans. And Billy's journey in the San Juans, I feel like he was really able to kind of come full circle and find his mojo again with forecasting. And so it is sad for me that she can't share these personal stories. But she shared a few words, maybe a few passages that Abby Jean is going to come up and share with us. So did I say it? Unfortunately, she's got COVID and she's like down at the mouth of the canyon and just found out. So it's literally just like moments that we're just being made aware that she isn't able to join us. So thank you for speaking on her behalf.
I just wanted to get up here and look at all y'all. Wow. And I'm gonna sit down too, because I got no passages. I've got my paper, I've got my preparation. All I've got is my heart right now. And I know Amy's really upset. I couldn't even get a message out where I was able to pick up her text. And she said, I'm at the base of the canyon, and I've got COVID. And maybe I should have gone down. I don't even know where she was. So she said maybe it's when she put my papers, but it was like 30 when I saw a message. So I'm assuming she's not in the house now, and I figured I should at least say a couple things, and I'll just hijack for a minute. I'm not part of the Avalanche family, but I can say that Billy and this goofball over here, Hefe, taught me my first Avalanche class. What was that, 99? Oh my God. and gave me an appreciation of safety in the backcountry, and I've forgotten all of it. But like Hop said, the San Juans I know were full circle for him. We talked about it when we went down there, and I know that he was really excited. Like I said, it gave him his mojo back. I mean, he was very excited. I think it was kind of inspiring him and challenging him to go get the forecast. And what many of the Avalanche people know is one of the nation's most dangerous snowpack. So that's like a real challenge for him. And plus, they're just beautiful mountains. People spent time in that area, and so I know he was really psyched. And the funny thing is I'm not going to go into all the details, but Amy, who should be sitting here right now, he brought her and I together under the most unlikely of circumstances. In fact, I warned him about her. When we got down there, I was like, you're going to make this woman stay away. I was misinformed, and interestingly enough, she and I have become really close friends. And leave it to Billy to bring people together. And again, just like sitting here looking at this room of people, and I mean, time warp for sure, as Drew said. I mean, I'm seeing people that I haven't seen in over 2 decades since I was the Moonbeam. I don't know if anybody remembers, but I was the Moonbeam girl, slinging hot dogs. So it's been really fun to see people from over 2 decades ago. But he really brought a vast and eclectic group of folks together, and I feel blessed, and I know that Amy probably. I don't know. Did she submit San Juan photos? Were there any of those? No, we didn't any of those. She sent me a few, so I got to enjoy them. I'm sure that everybody on Facebook could enjoy some of his time in the San Juan, but I know it was deeply meaningful to him, and I know that he and Amy connected. I will share one story of hers, because I think a lot of us, this is an avalanche story or snow story, but I think a lot of us know how magical Billy still is, every day. She wasn't going to hunt. She and I have also connected as bow hunters, and she wasn't going to hunt 2 seasons ago. It was 2021, and she's like, "No, I'm just not feeling it. It's not going to happen this season." And that was the season after her and Billy connected and become really good friends. And he was like, "I think you should go out." It was, I want to say she said it was like halfway or 3/4 of the way through the season or something like that. Her second day out, he's like, "No, you should go. I got a really," you can hear his voice, can't you? "I got a really good feeling about this." And so he sent her out, and Amy shot her first Galil with her bow. And yeah, I think all of us have got a way that he touched us magically in our lives. So that's all I got, because like I said, I got papers, nothing else. So anyway, let's wish Amy a speedy recovery. I can't believe she actually drove part of the way up here with COVID. That's a testament to who she is.
met Amy. That's who introduced me to her, Billy. And you'll never guess where I met Billy, at a widespread panic concert. And that's where I met Amy. So I too have something in common with her besides snow, widespread panic. I met Bill at Widespread Panic about 17 years ago. There was nothing silly about it. It was on. Best dance partner ever. He was a major player on our crew. Our crew that we needed a name for. Another crew at the shows came to us and said, "You guys need a name." And thanks to one of the crew, they came up with, "Well, I'm on your team. I'm on your team." I was on Bill's team and he was on mine. We call ourselves #your team. We're all on #your team and we're in the love portal together. Billy was a natural leader, an incredible innovator, and he had an ear for really good music. I thought of a couple of quick stories I wanted to tell you, show stories. And the first one being the last show that I was at with Bill together in Las Vegas this last March. And the band decided to cover War's song, "Slipping into Darkness." You may know it, you may not. As it comes into the song, it's quite a heavy message. Somebody's lost their friend. And Billy and I just clutched onto each other so tight. And he leaned up and he whispered into my ear, "Except, it's not dark. It's not dark at all. It's light everywhere. Light everywhere. And it's so bright." And that was the last time we shook our bones to Widespread Panic together. But fast forward to our annual trip to Red Rocks in June. He didn't make it, but he made sure we got a special delivery on the lot. That's what I hold in my hand here. It was something else. I'm going to stop with my words now and share with you the message that Bill sent to the lot at the shows. This is life. What a life. It's sometimes hard to see just how simple the answer is. It's always been live your life to the fullest and the beauty will follow. With so many distractions trying to throw you off course, it's a wonder we have any clue about any of it. But this one thing, life itself. So simple and yet so complex. It continues to bind us and remind us how fragile and wonderful it all can be. Focus our energy toward how we want the world to be. Your thoughts have power. What you choose to spend your time thinking about is often what most happens. Choose that which serves us most, as a whole, as a species, as a community, as humans, family, and as friends. What I see now more than ever in this coalition of relationships, that makes us who we are, what we want to be. It's there for the taking. One just has to reach out deeply and claim it for themselves and for those that hold dear. In some ways, I might get to be the luckiest man in the world. This time of reflection and self-internalization, you just don't get this good stuff. And now that I am, the floodgates are open. And I see the world a different place. Take life by the horns and grab on tight. Hold on for the ride. Enjoy it. It can sometimes be hard not to get bugged off. Just get back on, adjust, and ride on. No one knows how long it is you've got, so remember those things most dear and refocus on those. It's up to us. It's easy to remember something you love about this life and a little harder to keep in practice. If you feel compelled, write something in this book to remind us all the little simple things that make life so sweet. Ain't life grand? And he signed it, Willie Nally. So happy that you all made it. Thank you for coming. It's my honor to introduce another member of #your team. And someone that I would always recall seeing standing next to Billy at every show, Molly Young.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for giving me this time to talk a little bit about Billy and his love music. I'm just going to start with a well-known quote by a lifelong favorite of Bill's and mine. This is one I really liked having in common with him. Information is not knowledge. Knowledge is not wisdom. Wisdom is not truth. Truth is not beauty. Beauty is not love. Love is not music. Music is the best. Well, Frank Zappa said that, and I'll go on to offer that while loving music is very often love. And one of the many powers it has is to allow a person to just achieve a deeper ease in their own skin. In connections, it fosters them in myriad ways. Live music was an important connection for the two of us, and I imagine that was true for a whole lot of you as well. The magic of being moved by music together with your loved ones and a bunch of other good people who are feeling the same spirit is one of the great joys to be found in life. And there's no doubt that Bill now knew that. And also, he brought it. He was a well-loved music companion and a sublime dancer. And on rollerblades, he was the goat. He just had the smoothest feet. He was sleepy, he was slippery, and he always grooved with at least a hint of mischief in his eyes. And Billy had some really great signature moves. I'm about to do one, hang on. Thinking of one will give me smiles for years to come. It's my personal favorite. It's the Big 3 class. You guys know it? Now we throw one, or sometimes a rare two of them, in the moment of fun and fun. It would give me a joyous would fall off my class every time. Winning, for sure. Bill's tastes were broad, and his heart was open. And when he found something special, he would find a perfect way to share it. He was a really good influencer, and he, in the course of our friendship, we saw a lot of live music together. But he's probably critical to acknowledge our deepest shared musical love was indeed widespread here. And by the time we met, we were both pretty rabid fans, so it was like recognizes like. And it became a really important and special part of making memories together and being able to share that musical life. And like most people with music obsessive disorder, I have seen this band every which way, almost alone, with just a wing person, in groups of all sizes and populations. And over the years, I've been increasingly blessed with such a wonderful, super solid crew of true people. And it just feels like home. And Bill was and always will be such a cherished part of that. There isn't a show I'll go to for the remainder of my life that he will be there with me. He carved a sweet groove in the vinyl of every single person who has seen that band. I'm going to cherish all of my memories with him, and I know for sure that he left that feeling with most of you as well. So let's raise the roof for Bill. Cheers. To your friends so dear, old friends, heroes, lifetimes. Don't let a single memory fade away. Still here, brave friend. Spirit moves. It moves through all things. And the great news is we'll now adjourn to the porch and enjoy some food and conversation.
Hey guys, thank you all for being here. This is awesome. It's such a great turnout. I'm so happy to see all you here. Just a couple little tiny housekeeping notes. East Canyon has been so great to have us here. They've been so accommodating. They've had such a great attitude. They've helped us in so many ways. So please, please, please respect this place and everything about it. There is a lane back here where some of the guests have been complaining about the parking. In particular, there's a silver Tacoma right on the corner and a blue Tesla Model Y right next to it. You're a little too liberal with grass. If you could just move your cars off the grass. And everybody else behind you guys can kind of get off the grass a little bit. The members were complaining. That's the only bad thing we've done so far. I'm going to leave it up to Ms. Chris to give us the rest of the announcements.
So I think we're a little ahead of schedule, which is fine. I know I already spoke of the offerings, but we we have some of Billy's ashes over here. So there used to be like 96 photos of Billy on the wall, and now there's 70 photos of Billy out in the church. So we may need to share Billy amongst our friend groups. And food, I think we're doing food together. And then the other thing is Bruce and Lisa Engelhart put together a really, really beautiful memory book for Cleo. And I just want to make sure that everybody takes some time to write a story about Cleo, or just any kind of anything that shows up in your heart that you can write to Cleo. We would really appreciate her to have this lasting memento. And I think that's about it. We're going to do, okay, so how the rest of the flow is going to go is once dinner's out, everybody please enjoy some food, and then there will be open mic. So for everybody who wants to share a story, to provide a song, to do a dance, to whatever is coming up for you in your heart, you will have an opportunity to do that. That should be opening up shortly. And I think that's about it. We also have these beautiful prints, this amazing artwork that is available by donation. And I like we have Moose is offering some ceremonial tea. There's just a lot of fun exploring to be done. So thank you, everyone. Anything? Oh, yes. There's a photo booth and also some of Billy's items that are available. And those are all on the south side of the venue. So thank you everyone for coming, and thank you for your patience, for just being up here and holding space in your presence, and we love you. Have a fabulous evening. Thank you.
Congratulations on the spotlight. Ron, will you do a rehearsal?
Well, because I personally for me.
I will send him all.